The air inside the cramped cockpit of the Starcraft Hummingbird was thick with tension as it descended towards the rocky surface of Zelara. Captain Leo Strickland, a seasoned explorer in the realm of interstellar diplomacy, adjusted the controls, his gaze fixed on the alien landscape sprawling beneath him. His mission was straightforward, yet historic. Establish first contact with the Threxians, a species known through intercepted transmissions for their martial society and strict codes of honor. Leo's communicator crackled to life. Hummingbird, this is Earth Command. Confirm systems check and approach vector. Over. Earth Command, Hummingbird here. Systems green. Vector confirmed. Starting descent now, Leo replied, his voice calm, belying the adrenaline coursing through his veins. As the Hummingbird touched down on the dusty surface, Leo suited up for his first encounter. He checked his reflection in the cabin's small mirror. His suit was pristine, the Earth emblem shining on his chest. Stepping out onto Zelara, Leo's boots stirred tiny whirlwinds of red dust. He scanned the horizon with his visor's enhanced optics. Not far from the landing site, a group of Threxian warriors approached, their armor clanking softly with each disciplined step. Leo switched on his translator. Greetings, I am Captain Leo Strickland of the United Earth Government. I come in peace and hope to foster friendship between our peoples. The lead Threxian, a towering figure with iridescent scales, stopped a few meters away. His deep voice resonated through the translator. I am Commander Vral of the Threxian High Guard. Your arrival was foreseen. You speak of peace, yet you enter our world uninvited. Leo's heart raced. Diplomacy was a delicate dance, especially when the partner could easily misinterpret steps. Commander Vral, my apologies if my arrival seemed presumptuous. We wish only to learn from each other and share in the galactic community's benefits. Vral's eyes narrowed, assessing Leo's posture and tone. Your words carry weight, human. We shall see if they hold truth. Follow me to the council grounds. The elders will decide your fate. As they walked through the rugged terrain, Leo tried to ease the tension. Your world is beautiful, Commander. The landscapes are unlike anything on Earth. Vral looked at Leo, a hint of surprise in his expression. You find beauty in this barren land? Interesting. Few can appreciate the harshness that forges the Threxian spirit. Leo smiled. Perhaps, but it's the challenges that shape a species' character, isn't it? Earth has its own beauties and its beasts. Vral grunted, which Leo took as a sign to continue. As they approached a massive structure carved directly into a mountain, Leo was struck by the architectural marvel. This is impressive. Did your people build it? Yes, Vral replied, his tone carrying a trace of pride. It was carved by the first Threxian warriors as a testament to our enduring spirit. You will meet the elders here. Speak true, Leo Strickland. The elders value honesty above all. Inside the council grounds, Leo was ushered into a vast chamber where several aged Threxians sat in a semicircle. The air was cool, the atmosphere heavy with the scent of exotic spices. Vral announced Leo's presence, and an intense scrutiny followed. An elder stepped forward, his voice echoing off the stone walls. Human, your journey here is bold. Why do you seek us out? Leo took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. Honored elders, I come on behalf of humanity to extend a hand of friendship. We seek to learn and grow, not just as a planet, but as part of the larger cosmos. Your wisdom and strength are renowned. We hope to share knowledge and live in harmony. The chamber fell silent. Leo could feel every gaze upon him, their judgments yet unspoken. He knew that these first moments would shape the future of human and Threxian relations for generations to come. Back on Earth, the Global Defense Council convened an emergency session, the gravity of Leo's mission pressing on every decision made. Admiral Catherine Ellis, a decorated veteran and head of the United Earth Space Command, stood before the assembly, outlining the stakes. Members of the Council, Captain Strickland has successfully landed on Zelara and is currently meeting with the Threxian High Council, Admiral Ellis began, her tone somber yet assertive. This is a pivotal moment, not just for our diplomatic corps, but for all of humanity. Our response and readiness must be calibrated carefully. Across the table, General Marcus Thane, known for his strategic mind in military operations, adjusted his uniform before speaking. Catherine, while I understand the need for diplomacy, we must also prepare for less favorable outcomes. The Threxians are a warrior race. Their respect must be earned, potentially through strength. Admiral Ellis nodded. Agreed, Marcus. I propose we prepare a contingent of our elite peacekeepers. They will not engage unless our hand is forced. Their presence in orbit around Zelara could provide the necessary support to ensure Captain Strickland's safety and our interests. The discussion shifted towards the logistics of such an operation. Lieutenant Commander James Holden, an expert in extraterrestrial tactical deployments, brought up the specifics. If we're to deploy the Peacekeeper unit, we need to equip them with non-lethal deterrence. Our goal is to de-escalate any potential conflict, not provoke it. Admiral Ellis turned to Dr. Lena Joe, the lead xenopsychologist. Lena, what's your read on the Threxian temperament? How likely are they to view our actions as a threat rather than a precaution? Dr. Joe, who had spent years studying interstellar species behavior, responded thoughtfully. Threxians value strength, but they respect boundaries. If we make it clear that our forces are for defensive purposes only and communicate this openly, it might reinforce our commitment to peaceful relations. The Council agreed on the strategy. As the meeting adjourned, Admiral Ellis communicated the plan to Space Command. Within hours, the elite Peacekeeper unit was briefed, equipped, and ready aboard the Starship Sentinel, orbiting Earth. Meanwhile, back on Zelara, Captain Strickland continued his delicate dialogue with the Threxian elders. As discussions about cultural exchange and technological cooperation unfolded, Leo sensed a growing respect, but also skepticism among the Threxians. After the formal meeting, Commander Vral escorted Leo outside, where the Zalaran sunset painted the sky in hues of crimson and gold. Leo Strickland, you speak well, but words are the beginning. Actions will prove your kind's worth, Vral remarked, his gaze lingering on the horizon. Understood, Commander. We too believe that actions speak louder than words. It's our hope that both our actions here and our intentions from afar reflect our sincerity, Leo replied, watching the alien twilight deepen. Back in space, the crew of the Sentinel maintained a vigilant watch, their sensors and communication systems tuned for any distress call from the surface. Lieutenant Commander Holden oversaw the operation, ensuring that every precaution was in place to respond at a moment's notice. As night fell on Zelara, Leo returned to his quarters, recording his thoughts and experiences in his log. The weight of his responsibility felt heavier in the alien silence. Each decision, each word exchanged with the Threxians could tip the balance towards a historic peace or a catastrophic conflict. In the solitude of the alien night, Leo prepared for the days ahead, knowing well that the eyes of humanity, and perhaps many others across the stars, were upon him, waiting to see what the dawn would bring. In the heart of Threxian territory, the city of Rexic stood as a testament to the might and pride of its people. A vast cityscape, surrounded by impenetrable walls and watchtowers, it was the site chosen by the Threxian elders for further negotiations with Captain Leo Strickland. As Leo approached the city gates, escorted by Commander Vral and a cadre of Threxian warriors, he felt the weight of countless eyes upon him. Commander Vral led Leo through the bustling streets where merchants hawked exotic goods and warriors paraded in armor that clinked melodically. Despite the vibrancy around him, Leo noticed a palpable tension as residents eyed him with curiosity and a touch of suspicion. Commander, these festivals are impressive. Are they common? Leo inquired, attempting to break the ice as they walked. Vral nodded, a slight grin breaking his stoic demeanor. Yes, it is the season of fire, a time of renewal and celebration. We display our strength and honor our ancestors. It fortifies our spirit for the challenges ahead. As they made their way to the city center, a disturbance erupted at the far end of the market square. A group of Threxian youths, emboldened by the festival's energy, began to throw stones at Leo, shouting slurs about the Earthling among them. Vral's reaction was swift. He barked orders, and Threxian soldiers quickly subdued the ruffians. This is unusual, Captain. I apologize. The young ones are fiery but unwise, Vral commented, ensuring Leo was unharmed. Leo brushed off his suit, maintaining his composure. It's all right, Commander. Such is the path of diplomacy, rocky and unpredictable. Their arrival at the Elders' Hall was met with a mixture of reverence and apprehension. The hall was a grand structure, lined with statues of legendary warriors and leaders. Inside, the air was cool, filled with the murmurs of the awaiting council. The meeting commenced with Leo presenting gifts from Earth, a collection of scientific texts and technological innovations. His speech emphasized shared goals, peace, prosperity, and mutual respect. However, the earlier incident in the square had stirred unease among the Threxian delegates. As the council debated, word reached the Sentinel orbiting above. Lieutenant Commander Holden received the update with concern. Keep a close watch, he instructed his crew. Prepare for immediate evacuation procedures. We can't take any chances. The debate within the hall grew heated. Elder Marnax, a respected figure, finally stood, his voice commanding silence. We have witnessed the Earthlings' words and seen their gifts. Now, we must deliberate their worth. Captain Strickland, you and your escort will retire for the evening. We will summon you with our decision. That night, as Leo rested in the quarters provided to him, the city of Rexic was anything but peaceful. A faction of Threxian warriors, dissatisfied with the Council's openness to dialogue, plotted to seize the Earthling as leverage against what they perceived as potential human encroachment. In the pre-dawn hours, alarms blared. Leo was abruptly awakened by Commander Vral. Captain, we must leave now. Dissenters have breached the hall. As they hurried through the labyrinthine streets, a loud explosion rocked the northern wall. The city was under siege from its own people, and in the chaos, Leo and Vral had to depend on each other to survive. The situation escalated quickly. Back on the Sentinel, Holden watched the chaos unfold through surveillance feeds. Initiate rescue protocol, he commanded as dropships descended towards the coordinates where Leo and Vral were last seen. The mission had shifted dramatically, from diplomatic envoy to extraction operation under fire. After a harrowing escape from the siege of Rexic, Leo and Commander Vral found themselves in the custody of the Threxian Central Authority. The atmosphere was tense as they were transported to the capital's High Tribunal, a massive, fortress-like structure where the most significant legal battles were contested. Inside the tribunal, Leo was separated from Vral and placed in a holding cell. The cold, stone walls did little to comfort him as he awaited his fate. He knew that the upcoming trial was about more than just his actions. It was about humanity's place in the galactic community. The trial began with the tribunal hall filled to its ancient, ornate rafters with spectators. The Threxian media had turned the event into a spectacle, broadcasting across the planet and to other interested systems. Leo, standing alone, faced a panel of 7 elders, each with their own preconceptions about humans. Elder Marnax, who had previously shown some favor towards Leo, was the first to speak. Captain Leo Strickland, you stand before this tribunal accused of inciting violence within our walls and disrespecting our traditions. How do you plead? Leo straightened his uniform and replied, Not guilty, honored elder. I came to your world in peace, and my actions have consistently been in the spirit of cooperation and respect. The prosecution, led by Elder Sarn, presented their case with fervor. The facts show that since the humans' arrival, we have seen unprecedented discord. He speaks of peace, yet brings chaos in his wake. Commander Vral, now acting as a reluctant witness, spoke of the events truthfully, but emphasized the misunderstandings that led to the conflict. Captain Strickland did not incite the violence. It was our own people, swayed by fear and suspicion, who broke the peace. As Leo was given a chance to defend himself, he chose his words carefully, speaking not only to the elders, but to all of Threxia. I understand the fear of the unknown. My presence here is new and unsettling, but I ask you to judge me by my intentions and my actions, all aimed at fostering a bond between our peoples. Throughout the proceedings back on Earth, news of Leo's trial caused a stir among the population and the government. Debates raged over the approach to extraterrestrial diplomacy and humanity's readiness to engage with warrior cultures like the Threxians. Admiral Ellis, monitoring the situation from Earth, organized a diplomatic envoy in case Leo was convicted, intending to negotiate his release, or, if necessary, his extraction. We must prepare for all outcomes, she briefed her team. Leo's trial is not just his own, but a trial for all of humanity. The trial lasted several days, with testimonies from various Threxian citizens and footage from the events replayed. Leo's calm demeanor and respectful bearing gradually won over some of the tribunal's members and the public. His final statement was a passionate reminder of the shared dreams and fears that all sentient beings hold dear. As the tribunal retired to deliberate, Leo was taken back to his cell, where the weight of the galaxy seemed to press upon his shoulders. Alone, he awaited the decision that would not only determine his fate, but potentially shape the future relationship between humanity and the Threxian Empire. The outcome of this trial could either open a door to a new ally or seal it shut, igniting further conflicts across the stars. The tension in the air was palpable as the members of the Threxian tribunal filed back into the chamber after hours of deliberation. Captain Leo Strickland stood alone, a figure of calm resilience as he awaited their verdict. The crowd in the tribunal hall buzzed with whispers and conjecture, reflecting a society on the brink of making a historic decision. Elder Marnax, the presiding figure, rose to speak, his voice resonant in the silent hall. Captain Leo Strickland, you have been charged with inciting violence within our walls and disrespecting our traditions. This tribunal has reached a decision. Leo braced himself, his heart pounding in his chest. Marnax continued. It is the decision of this tribunal that you, Captain Strickland, are acquitted of all charges. However, this decision comes with a condition. You are to leave Threxia immediately and are forbidden from returning. A mixed reaction rippled through the crowd, some voices raised in anger, others in relief. Commander Vral, standing off to the side, gave Leo a subtle nod, a sign of respect from a warrior who had come to understand the true nature of this human. As Leo was escorted from the tribunal hall, the implications of his trial began to ripple outward. Across Threxian society, discussions erupted about the nature of justice and the presence of aliens within their borders. For some, the trial was a testament to the fairness of the Threxian legal system. For others, it was a missed opportunity to assert dominance over a potential threat. Back on Earth, Admiral Ellis received the news with a mixture of relief and concern. Prepare the ambassadorial ship for immediate departure, she instructed her team. We need to bring Captain Strickland home safely and reassess our stance on Threxian relations. Meanwhile, a faction within the Threxian military, disgruntled by the tribunal's decision, began to gather in secrecy. Led by Subcommander Tarnex, this group viewed the acquittal as a weakness in their leadership and a threat to the Threxian way of life. This is not the end, Tarnex declared in a clandestine meeting. The human has shown us our vulnerabilities. We must strengthen our defenses and prepare for the possibility of further human interference. As Leo made his way to the Threxian spaceport under heavy guard, he reflected on the events that had unfolded. Despite the acquittal, the air of suspicion and the palpable tension made it clear that his mission, though not entirely a failure, had stirred a hornet's nest. Upon reaching the ambassadorial ship, Leo was greeted by the crew with a sense of urgency. Captain, we need to depart immediately, one of the pilots urged. There are indications of military movements within the Threxian ranks that suggest possible aggressive posturing. As the ship ascended from Zelara, Leo stood at the viewport, watching the planet shrink away. He realized that while he was leaving Threxia, the story was far from over. The trial had sown seeds of doubt, fear, but also hope. Hope that perhaps future encounters could be handled with more understanding and less conflict. Back on Earth, the news of Leo's acquittal and the tense departure stirred a new debate about the future of interstellar diplomacy. We must learn from this, Admiral Ellis remarked during a debriefing. Our approach to new civilizations must be even more cautious, informed, and above all, respectful of their norms and fears. As the ambassadorial ship made its way back to Earth, Leo penned his experiences, ready to advise on new protocols that would guide humanity in its inevitable encounters with the vast, unknown reaches of the galaxy. His trial had ended, but the journey, for both him and humanity, was just beginning. Back on Earth, the return of Captain Leo Strickland was met with a hero's welcome. News of his acquittal had spread quickly, bolstering public perception of human resilience and diplomatic capability. However, the underlying currents of his experiences on Threxia hinted at a looming threat that Earth's leaders could not ignore. In the weeks following Leo's return, Admiral Catherine Ellis spearheaded a series of high-level briefings with global defense councils to reassess Earth's interstellar defense strategies. We must prepare for any potential Threxian reprisals, she asserted during a closed-door session. Their military faction's disapproval of the trial's outcome could lead to unforeseen consequences. Meanwhile, on Threxia, Subcommander Tarnex marshaled his forces, leveraging the unrest following the trial to enhance his fleet's capabilities. Unknown to Earth, Tarnex had commissioned the development of stealth technology capable of evading human detection systems. His plan was to launch a surprise attack to prove Threxian superiority and reclaim their tarnished honor. The attack came without warning. One evening, as the skies over Earth's major cities enjoyed the calm of twilight, the first wave of Threxian stealth ships breached the atmosphere. The initial strikes were devastating, targeting military bases, satellite arrays, and communication hubs. Earth's response was frantic, but hampered by the invisibility of their assailants. General Marcus Thane, overseeing the global defense network, coordinated a counter-response from the Pentagon's crisis room. Deploy all units with thermal imaging. Track any anomaly in the atmosphere. We need to pinpoint these attackers, he ordered. his voice a beacon of urgency. As chaos ensued on the ground, Leo Strickland volunteered to assist with the defense efforts, drawing on his knowledge of Threxian tactics. They pride themselves on honor in combat. This attack, it's desperate, Leo analyzed, briefing fighter squadrons. Watch for patterns in their strikes. They won't risk extended exposure. Working through the night, Earth scientists and engineers, led by Dr. Lena Zhou, raced to adapt existing technologies to detect the Threxian ships. A breakthrough came when an experimental quantum radar, capable of sensing disturbances in gravitational waves, successfully located one of the stealth ships hovering above Chicago. With the new detection systems swiftly deployed across the globe, Earth's defenses began to adapt. Fighter jets equipped with quantum radars took to the skies, engaging the Threxian invaders in fierce aerial battles. Each encounter displayed the courage and adaptability of Earth's pilots, slowly turning the tide as they downed several enemy ships. Meanwhile, Admiral Ellis communicated with allied nations to form a unified front. This is not just an attack on the United States, it's an assault on Earth. We stand together or fall divided, she declared in an international defense summit. Amidst the turmoil, Leo found himself in the Air Command Center, coordinating strikes and rescues. His diplomatic mission had transformed into a battle for survival. As he directed a squadron to intercept a group of Threxian ships near Paris, his commitment to protecting Earth reinforced the resolve of all those fighting. As dawn broke, the initial shock of the Threxian attack had morphed into a resolute determination across Earth's communities. The people of Earth, united by a common threat, supported their defenders with a surge of solidarity. The battle was far from over, but Earth had survived the night, proving that humanity would not succumb quietly to the shadows of war. The global response to the Threxian stealth attack had initially been one of disarray and panic, but humanity's resilience soon marshaled a more organized and strategic defense. Under the leadership of Admiral Catherine Ellis and General Marcus Thane, Earth's military forces began adapting their tactics to the unique challenges posed by Threxian technology. In a high-stakes meeting at the United Nations, Leo Strickland shared his insights with world leaders and military strategists. The Threxians are proud, but not infallible, Leo emphasized. Their stealth technology gives them an initial advantage, but it has weaknesses. We can exploit their arrogance. Dr. Lena Zhou, having made significant advances with the quantum radar technology, proposed a new strategy. We've modified our drones to carry this technology. These can act as mobile detection units, scanning for disruptions caused by Threxian ships. Once identified, our forces can target them with precision. The new strategy was immediately put into action. Drones were dispatched in waves across major cities and strategic military locations, creating a network of surveillance that slowly began to unveil the hidden Threxian fleet. This network provided real-time data, allowing Earth's air forces to strike with deadly accuracy. General Thane coordinated a series of counterattacks, targeting the now visible Threxian ships. "This is Operation Nightfall," he declared. "We turn their advantage into their downfall. For every city they've tried to hide above, we will light the sky with their defeat." As the operation gained momentum, Leo joined a special task force designed to handle ground incursions. Armed with the latest in armored exoskeletons, Leo and his team moved through the ruins of a devastated San Francisco, hunting Threxian ground forces that had landed in the chaos of the initial assault. During one such encounter, Leo's unit was ambushed by a Threxian squad. Utilizing hand-to-hand combat techniques he had observed during his time on Threxia, Leo managed to turn the skirmish in his favor, capturing a Threxian commander. Through this prisoner, Earth forces learned valuable intelligence about the locations of other Threxian units and their command structure. Meanwhile, back in space, Admiral Ellis oversaw the deployment of Earth's newly outfitted Starfleet, equipped with quantum detection arrays. As Threxian ships attempted to regroup for another strike, they were met with a barrage of missiles, their locations betrayed by the technology they had underestimated. The battles raged on both land and sky, but the tide was indeed turning. Earth's forces, unified and innovative, began reclaiming their cities and pushing back the alien invaders. The Threxians, realizing their stealth advantage was lost, started to retreat, their morale broken by the relentless and unexpected resilience of human ingenuity. In the aftermath of what would later be known as the Battle of the Eclipse, Earth's citizens and soldiers celebrated their hard-fought victory. Amidst the celebrations, Leo, though wearied by battle, felt a surge of pride in humanity's ability to adapt and overcome. However, he knew that this victory, while significant, might only be the beginning of a longer conflict. As Earth began to rebuild, strategies were put in place to prevent future surprises. Leo advocated for a permanent space-based detection system, dubbed the Sentinel Array, to monitor for any future Threxian movements. This initiative, coupled with ongoing diplomatic efforts to understand and potentially reconcile with Threxia, marked a new era of defense and diplomacy for Earth. As the dust settled from the fierce conflicts of the Battle of the Eclipse, Earth began to repair the deep scars left by the Threxian attacks. Cities were rebuilt, families reunited, and a somber reflection on the cost of victory permeated the global consciousness. Yet, amid the reconstruction, a profound sense of unity and strength emerged, propelling humanity into a new era of interstellar vigilance and cooperation. Captain Leo Strickland, now regarded as a pivotal figure in Earth's defense and a symbol of human valor, was summoned to Threxia as part of a peace delegation. The Threxians, humbled by their defeat and the revelation of their vulnerabilities, had extended an offer for peace talks, hoping to avert further bloodshed and perhaps forge a new understanding with humanity. Accompanied by Admiral Catherine Ellis and a team of diplomats and military advisors, Leo journeyed once again to the alien world that had nearly been his tomb. The Threxian capital, previously a place of trial and suspicion, now welcomed them with cautious respect. Commander Vral, who had become a liaison for the peace efforts, greeted Leo with a warrior's nod. "Strickland, your actions have taught us much about humans. Let us see what more we can learn from peace," he said. The peace talks were held in the Great Hall of Harmony, a site chosen for its historical significance as a place where Threxian conflicts were resolved without bloodshed. The discussions were intense, with both sides laying bare their fears and ambitions. Leo spoke not only of security, but of potential collaborations in technology and space exploration that could benefit both races. As the negotiations continued, a treaty began to take shape. The Treaty of Galactic Resilience outlined terms for a mutual non-aggression pact, the establishment of a trade and cultural exchange program, and the creation of a joint exploratory task force to venture into uncharted territories of the galaxy. Back on Earth, the news of the treaty was met with overwhelming approval. Celebrations erupted across the world, not only for the promise of peace, but for the future prospects of humanity among the stars. Schools taught the story of the Battle of the Eclipse and the subsequent peace as a turning point in human history. In the months following the treaty, Leo led the first joint task force aboard the starship Unity. The ship, a marvel of combined human and Threxian engineering, symbolized the new alliance and its far-reaching implications. As Unity prepared to leave Earth's orbit, Leo addressed his crew, a mix of human and Threxian officers. "This ship, this crew, represents what we can accomplish when we choose to understand rather than fear, to build rather than destroy," he declared. The Unity's maiden voyage was to the Rim of Shadows, a sector of space known for its unexplored mysteries and potential dangers. As the starship sailed past the edge of Threxian space, Leo stood on the bridge, watching the stars that had once seemed mere points of light now gleam with possibilities. The journey was not without its challenges, but with each difficulty, the crew of Unity demonstrated the strength of their combined capabilities. They encountered new species, brokered peace with distant civilizations, and charted star systems that had once been mere names in the Galactic Atlas. As Leo documented their adventures, his logs served not only as a record of their journey, but as a beacon for future generations. And so, as the sun set over another world, far from Earth, Leo reflected on the journey, from the perils of first contact to the promise of a shared future, and smiled at the thought of the endless horizons yet to be explored.